as I listen to you and being on the calls and things that we were on Christmas, it made me think about grieving and um, what you're describing to me is grief and processing that. And many people in the professional world have different stages of grief, but one particular person comes to mind because she, in my mind, was a pioneer of grief, and that's Kubler-Ross, if anybody wants to look up grieving. And she identified some stages, but grieving, what we're going through and what you went through is something. I had a rough time the day before Christmas Eve. That night was terrible for me. And um, I was grieving. And so I knew, having gone through Lisa's course, that I was in level one. I dropped to level one, which grieving stages, um, grieving parallels the stages that the levels that Lisa has. We just call them different things. They're in grieving, it's called stages, and Lisa calls them levels, and they're parallel. And as I'm hearing you and what I went through that night, I knew, having been in level one, having gone through it, there was work to do. If you find yourself stuck, like you sound like you're stuck because you're in December, um, there's work to do. And for me, it was helpful to go back through level one and do that work again on this particular thing that was going on. And then I could get out, I guess, work through it and move on. I'll say that sounds better. The two most important things that have come up for me in this are to remember to connect and communicate, which you did. So you did that for yourself, and that's awesome. It's very hard to do. I honestly didn't do it the night I was having trouble. I did not connect and communicate. I worked in level one. It would have been more helpful for me to connect and communicate. And I think people think, because I'm a psychologist, that automatically what I know is going to connect with my heart, and automatically things are going to happen for me, and they don't. So Jillian, I'm very proud of you for being able to connect and communicate, because you reached out, and it was great for all of us to have the calls and connect and communicate and say what was going on. So I just think, let's try to remember those two words, to connect and communicate. And as I was just now, sorry, my mind, I just keep thinking all the time, but I was thinking like connect and communicate, two C's. And then, people make that heart shape. So if you can kind of remember, maybe that'll help, to connect and communicate.